you handed them the weapon. Not the enemy you can see. Not the rival across the table. Not the competitor in another city. The person you called your closest friend. The person you trusted with your future at 2 o'clock in the morning. The person you told your plan to. Your idea. Your next move. Your deepest ambition. You told them because you were excited. You told them because it felt real when you said it out loud. You told them because you needed someone to witness the fire inside you. And they smiled. They nodded. They said, "That's incredible, I believe in you." And then quietly, invisibly, they filed that information away. Not all of them with malice. Some of them with love. But love is not the same as loyalty. And loyalty is not the same as silence. And silence, as Machiavelli understood, is the rarest form of power. You are bleeding right now and you don't even know it. You are broadcasting your coordinates to the world and wondering why you keep getting ambushed. You are handing maps to people who have not yet decided whether they are allies or enemies. And the brutal truth that Niccolò Machiavelli carved into the walls of Renaissance Florence is this: most people have not decided. They are watching. They are waiting. They are calculating. And every word you speak about your plans is intelligence you are surrendering to a war you do not yet know you are fighting. This is not about paranoia. This is not about closing yourself off from the world. This is about understanding the physics of information. Information is currency. And you have been spending it like a drunk man with someone else's wallet. Today we are going to dissect exactly why you keep telling people your moves before you make them. We are going to trace it back to the psychological wiring that drives this behavior. We are going to look at the specific ways your words are used against you, not just by enemies, but by the architecture of your own mind. And we are going to install a new operating system. One that is colder, sharper, and infinitely more dangerous. But I warn you, what I am about to tell you will make you look back at every conversation you have had in the last 5 years and feel something cold move through your chest. Because you will realize, in specific detail, every time you gave away your power. Every time you funded your own defeat. Are you ready? Let's begin. Why do you do it? Why, when you have an idea that could change your life, is the first impulse to tell someone? Go back. You are 7 years old. You have done something. You drew something, you built something, you figured something out, and the first thing your nervous system screams is not do more of this. It screams, show someone. Show someone so they can confirm that this is real. Show someone so that you can feel the warmth of being witnessed. This is the validation loop. And it is burned into your operating system at the deepest level. Psychologists call it social referencing. From infancy, you looked at the face of a caregiver to determine whether something was safe or dangerous, real or imaginary, worth pursuing or worth abandoning. You did not trust your own perception. You outsourced your reality to the people around you. You never fully outgrew this. None of us did. But most people never even realize it is happening. They walk through life, every significant move preceded by a broadcast, a post, an announcement, a late-night confession. Not because they are strategically sharing information, but because their nervous system still needs the face of another person to tell them, yes, this is real, yes, you are real, yes, you are worth something. Machiavelli watched this in the courts of Florence. He watched princes destroy themselves not with swords but with speeches. He watched men announce their ambitions to rooms full of rivals and wonder why they were undermined before they even began. He wrote in The Prince that a man who broadcasts his intentions hands his enemy the most valuable thing in any conflict: time. Time to prepare. Time to respond. Time to position. Time to destroy. Your announcement gives them time. Now let's be specific. Let's look at the 3 exact mechanisms through which your words are turned into weapons. Mechanism 1. The subtle underminer. This person loves you. Genuinely. They are not a villain. They are not calculating your destruction over a glass of wine. But they are afraid. They are afraid because your ambition is a mirror, and the reflection is uncomfortable. When you tell them your plan, their first internal response is not excitement. It is a flash of their own inadequacy. A whisper that says, "Why am I not doing that? Why have I settled?" They cannot consciously acknowledge this feeling because it is too painful. So the psyche converts it. It transmutes that fear into what sounds like concern. Are you sure that's realistic? That market is really competitive. Have you thought about what happens if it fails? These sentences are not analysis. They are emotional self-defense. They are trying to put out your fire because your fire illuminates their darkness. And because you trusted them, because you came to them in a moment of vulnerability, their words land with the weight of truth. You walk away from that conversation slightly smaller than when you entered. The vision is the same, but the oxygen around it has been reduced. This happens so subtly that you almost never trace the damage back to the source. You just find yourself, 3 weeks later, less certain, less energized, moving slower, and you don't know why. Machiavelli would tell you exactly why. He warned that a man who consults widely on his plans will find 100 reasons not to proceed. Because every advisor brings their own fear into the room and leaves it on your shoulders. Mechanism 2. The competitive intel collector. This person is not your enemy. Not officially. They are a colleague, a peer, a fellow entrepreneur, someone in the same space as you. The relationship is warm. You share meals. You share ideas. You think of them as a friend in the industry. But under the warmth is a calculation you are not running. They are. Every time you share your next move, your next product, your next strategy, they are filing it. Not with hostility. With interest. Professional interest. And when they build something eerily similar to what you told them 6 months ago, they will not even feel guilty. Because in their mind, the idea evolved naturally. Inspiration is not theft when it travels through conversation. This is not cynicism. This is pattern recognition. The history of business, of art, of politics, is littered with the wreckage of people who shared their vision before they executed it. You cannot copyright a conversation. You cannot sue someone for being inspired by your ambition. The only protection is silence. Machiavelli understood this. He wrote that a prince who relies on the loyalty of those with competing interests has already lost. Not because people are evil, but because people are human. And humans serve their own interests, always, even when they love you, even when they mean well. Mechanism 3. The information ecosystem. This is the most dangerous and the most invisible. It is not one person. It is the network. When you tell one person your plan, you have not told one person. You have introduced that information into a living, breathing, unpredictable ecosystem of conversations, relationships, and casual disclosures. Your friend tells their partner. Their partner mentions it to a colleague. The colleague knows someone in your space. And suddenly your idea, your timing, your strategy is floating in a room you were never invited to. No one betrayed you. No one was malicious. The information simply traveled the way information always travels, outward, always outward, never backward. The ancient Romans had a phrase, fama crescit iundo, rumor grows as it moves. What you whisper in private becomes public not through treachery but through the natural momentum of human communication. If you have ever felt outmaneuvered, if you have ever watched someone else launch what you told them you were building, if you have ever had a competitor show up at exactly the wrong moment with exactly the right preparation, ask yourself, who did I tell? The answer is almost always there. Now you understand the how. But understanding alone does not change behavior. For that we need to go deeper. We need to understand the psychological addiction you have to disclosure. There is a neuroscience study you need to know about. Researchers at Harvard found that talking about yourself activates the same neural reward circuits as food and sex. When you share your goals, your brain releases dopamine. It gives you the same chemical hit as if you had already achieved the goal. This is catastrophic for execution. Because once the brain has received its reward, the urgency dissolves. The drive weakens. You told people you were going to build the business, and your brain partially believes you already did. The announcement substituted for the action. This is why you see people who are perpetually planning and never executing. Perpetually talking about the book they are writing, the company they are starting, the transformation they are undergoing. Each conversation gives them the hit. Each nod of encouragement extends the high. And the actual work, the cold, silent, unglamorous work, never happens because the emotional need it was meant to satisfy has already been met by talking. Machiavelli called this the fool's declaration. He wrote that the man who announces his war before it begins has already lost the most important battle, the battle of surprise. Napoleon said it differently. The whole art of war consists of a well-reasoned and extremely circumspect defensive, followed by a rapid and audacious attack. There is no room in that formula for a press conference before the campaign. Your ambition is not a story to be told. It is an operation to be executed. So what do you do? How do you live in a world that constantly rewards sharing, that treats vulnerability as virtue, that mistakes broadcasting for authenticity? You build what I call the architecture of strategic silence. And it has 4 specific structures. Structure 1. The vault. You create a hard separation between your internal world and your external presentation. The vault is not the absence of ideas. It is the disciplined containment of them. You have a plan. It is real. It is detailed. It lives in a notebook, in your mind, in the dark. It does not live in conversations. It does not live on social media. It does not live in confessions to friends over dinner. When someone asks, "What are you working on?" you have a prepared answer that is true but incomplete. I am working on something. When it is ready, you will see it. This is not deception. This is the natural behavior of someone who takes their work seriously. Surgeons do not describe the operation while performing it. Architects do not share the blueprints with the competing firm. You are not being secretive. You are being professional about your own life. Structure 2. The result announcement. The shift you must make is from announcing plans to announcing results. Most people say, "I am going to do X." The powerful say, "I did X." Do you see the difference? One is a promissory note. The other is a deed. One invites scrutiny, undermining, competition, and the dopamine theft of premature celebration. The other invites only acknowledgement of what already exists and cannot be taken back. When you post the finished book, not the intention to write it, you have changed the dynamic completely. The subtle underminer has nothing to undermine. The intel collector has nothing to collect. The ecosystem has nothing dangerous to transmit. The work is done. The ship has sailed. The only thing left is the wake. This requires enormous discipline, because the urge to share the plan will hit hardest exactly when the plan is most fragile. Exactly when it most needs protection. You have to learn to sit in the fire of excitement and not open your mouth. Structure 3. The selective counsel. This is Machiavelli's most nuanced teaching. He did not say trust no one. He said choose your advisors the way you choose your generals. With extreme scrutiny. After proven loyalty. And for specific purposes only. There may be 1 or 2 people in your life who have demonstrated, through action and through time, that they are genuinely in your corner. Not people who say they are. People who have proven it under pressure. These people can be brought into the vault on specific matters. But even here, you share only what they need to know. Not the whole map. Not the full timeline. Not the depth of your ambition. The need-to-know principle. This is not coldness. This is respect for the weight of real information. You would not give a child a loaded weapon. You do not give an unvetted person access to your most vulnerable plans. It has nothing to do with how much you love them. Structure 4. The patience of the predator. We spoke about this in a different context in a previous video. The predator does not announce the hunt. The predator does not run through the jungle broadcasting its intentions. The predator moves in silence. It watches. It positions. It waits. And when the moment is perfect, not announced, not scheduled, not telegraphed, it moves. This is the final and most important structure. Patience. The willingness to sit in silence while others speculate. The willingness to be underestimated. The willingness to let people think they know what you are doing while you are doing something entirely different. There is a terrifying power in the man who works in total silence for a year and then emerges changed. People cannot prepare for what they cannot see, and you cannot be defeated by someone who does not know where you are standing. Let me address the objection that is forming in your mind right now. But what about authenticity? What about being real? What about human connection? Here is the distinction Machiavelli would draw and that you must internalize. There is a difference between being known and being legible. Being known is deep. It is earned. It is built through time, through shared experience, through tested loyalty. The people who truly know you are few, and they did not get there through a single conversation or a social media post. They got there through years. Being legible is dangerous. It means you are readable. It means your next move can be predicted. It means your ambitions can be targeted before they are realized. Most people confuse the broadcast of their interior life with the intimacy of being truly known. They post their goals and think they are being authentic. They confess their plans and think they are being vulnerable. They are not. They are being legible. And legible people are manageable people. The person who cannot be read cannot be controlled. The person whose plans are invisible cannot be preempted. The person who reveals nothing gives the world nothing to work with. And the world, stripped of information, cannot maneuver against you. This is the ultimate form of protection, not armor, not aggression. Absence. You are not there. Your next move is not there. There is only the result, when it arrives, already done, already real, already yours. We are reaching the end of this transmission. I want to leave you with a single image. Think of the most powerful person you know. Not the loudest. Not the most followed. The most powerful. Think about how much you actually know about their next move. About their real plans. About what they are building in private. You know almost nothing. You see results. You see outcomes. You see the moves after they have already been made. And that invisibility, that strategic silence, is not an accident. It is the architecture of their power. It is the thing they never told you about. Now think about the person in your circle who constantly talks about what they are going to do. The person who always has a plan in progress, always has an announcement, always has a vision they are sharing. Think about what they have actually built. The correlation is almost perfect. In every direction. The silent ones build. The loud ones plan. You now have a choice about which one you are going to be. Shut your mouth. Build in the dark. Let the result be the only noise you make. If this opened your eyes, understand this is only what I can show publicly. There are videos I cannot upload for everyone. There are aspects of dark psychology that I simply cannot discuss publicly on YouTube without being censored or demonetized. The algorithm suppresses the most powerful information. Those exist behind the join button. If you're still here, you're not like the others. Subscribe if you haven't. But if you want what's hidden, click the join button and step into the architect level. You will unlock exclusive and censored videos that dive into the deepest parts of the human psyche. Most won't. That's the point.